I want to talk about the concept of embracing minimalism in your business. And what I mean by this is what really makes you happy? What brings you joy? What brings you ROI or return on investment? And anything I challenge you that does not bring you joy or happiness or ROI, right? Return on investment, then consider releasing it so that it can bring somebody else joy. Hello, Profit First entrepreneurs and thought leaders. I am so excited today. Welcome to the Profit Talk podcast. And I am particularly excited today because I get a solo episode. I get to spend some time with you talking about, some favorite topics and really just get to talk and share some just different things on my heart. So I'm so excited that we get to do this today. And today I have a really fun topic to talk about. And it's a little bit different than what we normally talk about. It's a little zen, a little alternative, but I think it's really going to hit home for you. And you guys know, at the end of September, I got the opportunity to attend the 2021 Profit Con. And by the way, for you guys that are not aware, our firm was actually selected as the 2021 Profit First Firm of the Year. So I am so excited. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to get that award and to be selected as the 2021 Profit First Firm of the Year. It's been a huge honor, and I am so excited about it. But, as you can imagine, ProfitCon is a busy, busy week, right? A lot of learning, a lot of people, a lot of interaction. And for an introvert, it can be a little bit overwhelming. And when I got home from ProfitCon and all of its travel and as much fun as it was, it was exhausting, absolutely exhausting. And when I got back, I just needed to veg out. I just needed to veg out for the entire weekend. And one of the things that I like to do when I veg out is, I like to watch documentaries. Yes, I am a documentary fanatic. If you give me a weekend of watching docs, I'll like analyze the style, analyze the message. I love watching documentaries over anything. Okay. And, lately, some of my favorite documentaries have been, What the Health. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but it's called What the Health. And if anyone's ever interested in pursuing veganism, this is a really great documentary. If you are not wanting to ever go after veganism, I definitely don't recommend that you watch it because there is a lot of great research that went into this documentary and it is an amazing documentary. You should definitely watch it. But the other documentary that I watched that weekend was also rather interesting. And this documentary was called The Minimalist. And the actual title of the documentary is Minimalism, a documentary about the important things. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen this documentary. If you haven't, you've definitely got to check it out. And definitely put it in the chat if you have seen this documentary, because I want to hear your feedback on it. But this documentary is about two friends, and these two friends write about their personal journey and embracing minimalism within their personal lives. And you guys have probably heard about minimalism in some form or another. You probably have seen or heard about those people that sell every single thing that they own. And then they go out and buy these silver bullet trailers, right? And what happens is they end up spending their entire lives either living on the beach or traveling around the country, doing all these exciting things, visiting all these national parks, right? Just really having a great time doing this. Well, I'm not exactly recommending that you go out and pursue a life as a minimalist, but I think there's some really important lessons in this concept that I think really apply here. And this documentary in particular is really all about looking at your life and deciding, what is really important to you. And not only this, but what things do you possess that really bring happiness to you or add some sort of value in your life? And this documentary is interesting because in this doc, there are these two friends, right? The friends are Joshua Milborn and Ryan Nicodemus. And by the way, I love that man's name, Nicodemus. That's a cool last name that Ryan has. And these two friends literally pack their bags, and each one is only allotted one small luggage bag. And they literally travel across the country promoting their brand new book called Minimalism. And I have a copy right here for you guys that are able to watch this on our YouTube channel and see it. But their book is called Minimalism. And you guys can definitely go out and grab a copy of this book on Amazon. And this doc is interesting because as Ryan packs his bag, right, he demonstrates how he chooses every single thing that he's going to actually put in his bag to go on in his journey over the next year. And he can only pick very few things because literally this like bag is like the size of a leather duffel bag and it's tiny, and everything that he needs to put in his bag needs to fit in this teeny duffel bag. And it's interesting because he actually shows like how he packs his underwear. Like he packs 5 pairs of underwear, 4 of which are black, and there's one single red pair. And this red pair is simply red so that he can create a dividing line in the underwear between what the clean pairs are and the dirty pairs. So once he gets to that red line, he knows everything below is like dirty and he doesn't need to use it. And so literally that's the only reason why he has this red pair of underwear in the midst of these 4 black pairs of underwear. And then Ryan then proceeds to pack 2 shirts and then he packs 1 pair of pants. Now, I personally probably could not have traveled with the man, especially in the summertime. It probably would have smelled beyond what I could take, but that was how he chose to pack. And as you can imagine, he and his friend Josh are going to live a very minimalist lifestyle. And in his documentary, he challenges us, the viewer, to consider, instead of focusing on a materialistic life, meaning that, you know, just buying things and accumulating things so that we start to feel good about ourselves. Instead, really taking a look at our lives and the things that we should carry and asking ourselves, does this thing really make me happy? Now, does this thing, this possession really bring me joy? And if you're carrying something around that doesn't actually bring joy, right? It doesn't bring happiness, then what is the purpose of continuing to carry it in your life? What is the purpose of allowing this item that doesn't bring joy to continue to occupy space in your life? And perhaps by just offloading this possession, right? This possession, just offloading it, you can now release it so that not only can this item now find someone else to bring them joy, but now, and also have an opportunity for a second life, right? In somebody else's life. But now you're able to free yourself from this burden. And now you're able to open yourself up for new possibilities because you no longer have to carry this burden around. And so today, I want to talk about the concept of embracing minimalism in your business. And what I mean by this is what really makes you happy? What brings you joy? What brings you ROI or return on investment? And anything I challenge you that does not bring you joy or happiness or ROI, right? Return on investment, then consider releasing it so that it can bring somebody else joy. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what is a minimalistic life? What does that look like in your business? And I'm going to ask you this, if you guys are watching me on the replay or listening, what does happiness actually look like in your business? What does it look like in terms of freedom, time, or even money, right? What does that look like? What does happiness and joy in your business look like? And I wanted you to give you a moment for you to just think about that. If you're not driving, go ahead and journal on it. What does happiness look like in your company? When I think of a minimalist company, right, especially in terms of expenses, I think about what are the expenses on my bank statement that actually bring me joy or ROI. And for me, what that means is taking a look through my bank statement and my profit and loss, that income statement, right? And looking at it in terms of what expenses actually create a return on its investment. So what expenses reduce unnecessary processing time and creates more efficiency that allows me to be more free of my business, right? Not in my business, but free of my business, right? So I can be independent of my business. And this means what allows me to have to manage less people, right? What releases additional burden of responsibility from me, or what decreases my overall operating or compliance risk. And so, what I'm saying, entrepreneurs, is take a look at your bank statement. What expenses are being drafted out of your bank statements? Look at those auto pays right now that you're no longer using. Recently as a firm, we have been conducting an IT audit within our firm, an IT audit. And as part of our audit, we have been reviewing our user accounts and those outstanding software licenses. And during our audit, one of the things that we found was that we actually had more Norton 360 antivirus subscriptions than we did actually have computers. And literally what was happening was as people got new computers, right, or they upgraded to the new technology, instead of just taking on that old license, right, and just reapplying it to the new computer, they would just take on a new license. And so now instead of releasing that old license and reusing it, they now had two licenses. And during our audit, we actually found that there were some people that had two or three licenses actually assigned to them and only one computer. Totally waste of money, right? Total waste of money. And then we said, what, let's start taking a look at our software as a service subscriptions. I love those, right? Bill Gates, his idea of repetitive income and creating that subscription model, it really works for Microsoft. And you see, we were in a situation now that we were paying for this document storage service, which was absolutely great in the beginning, right? It was pretty low price. It was like $48 when we first started out. But then as we started scaling, right, as we started adding more users, adding more licenses, we had to purchase these additional subscriptions. And pretty soon, this $48 a month subscription had skyrocketed now to $500 a month. And this was because the number of users that we had substantially increased. The document management system, although initially was helpful, right? And it was cutting edge technology and it was super convenient, now it was actually not allowing us to scale efficiently and profitably, right? Because now it just, it was just a rising cost as we added new people. And what we realized was that we were actually paying for the exact same service in our Microsoft E3 licenses, right? We were actually paying for that same service. In fact, when we applied multi authentication, SharePoint completely fulfilled our needs. And it was part of our Microsoft subscription. We didn't need two storage systems. And so what happened was we were able to release that second one that was costing us $500 a month and was just a duplication of our Microsoft package. Now, I'll be honest with you, that migration was painful. That data migration was very painful. It was extremely long hours. And no kidding, it was a painful transition. As you can imagine, a 14-year-old data transition might be, right? But now that it's over, right, the savings are beautiful. Our technology is smooth and secure. And now we have the opportunity to invest that money, right, that $500 that we were duplicating expenses with into other things. And so my question to you, Profit First Entrepreneur, is what expenses do you have now on your income statement that's just a duplication of another service that you're already paying for? What's occupying space and robbing you of your blessings? What can you let go of right now in order to embrace a life of minimalism? And if you had to run your business on just the bare necessities, those bare minimums, right? What do you really need in order to keep your business going? And Proverbs Entrepreneur, I want you to write this down. I want you to write this down. I want you to journal on this. I personally love journaling. I had let the habit go a few years ago because, I didn't feel like I had time. But recently I picked it up again. And I realized, how much I really enjoy just that time of analysis and self reflection, and how much I was missing that time because I wasn't journaling on it. And I highly recommend that you journal. Yes. And even journal on your finances, journal on your finances, like compare how you did last month to this month and just journal on things that you would change or would want to see differently. I feel like so many of us, we just get bogged down in the busy that when we think to ourselves, I just need to take a moment to reflect and self assess, just that thought of having to take that moment for a lot of us just breaks and overwhelms us, right? But it's interesting because it's those moments of stillness that we accomplish so much more on a deeper level. It's taking that moment and just being still. So, entrepreneurs, embrace that stillness, that silence, and really think about what really matters. What do you really need to run your business? And after you write it down, highlight those items in your bank statement. Take that yellow highlighter, highlight those things in the bank statement, and then add it up. How much does it really cost you to run your business on the bare minimum? How much is it? And then consider eliminating anything on that bank statement that no longer enriches your life, right? And evaluate your payroll expenses. Which expenses on your payroll, right? Which employees actually bring you joy? Which employees light up the room when they enter because they have absolutely amazing ideas, or, you can just feel them coming in and it just lifts that heavy load off your back, right? Which employees make your life a little bit richer, right? And these are the relationships that you want to treasure. These are the relationships that you want to keep. And if someone doesn't make your life easier, right? And they don't bring happiness, if they're like that dark cloud that enters in the room, like, oh my gosh, no, I just lost another hour. then ask yourself, where else can they possibly fit? Where can this person go where they can truly shine to make a difference? And, as in things, when there's no joy or there's no return on investment, perhaps it's best to set them free so that they can find a place where they can live their fullest potential. Now, let's talk about clients. Let's talk about clients, specifically minimalism and clients, right? It's interesting because, I feel like in this day and age, in this 2021, 2022 season of our life, we choose how the world sees us. We choose how we're going to be positioned as a company in this world, and we choose how we're going to let the world treat us. And this is regardless of your background, creed, or nationality. Yes, there's something called prejudice that is out there. We've seen the cases where that has happened, But at the end of the day, in business, when one door closes, we can choose to move into a different room, right? We can choose how we're going to let the world see us, and we can choose how we allow them to treat us based upon our positioning. You know, I love Walmart, but Walmart has chosen to be the lowest price provider. They have chosen to work with every customer, and they will work with every customer by lowballing their competitors. Is it really working for Walmart? And, most people would go, Walmart is more profitable, right? And it's very interesting because yes, although Walmart is more profitable in terms of dollars, they sell more dollars, right? They have more cost of goods sold. With that, Target as a profit margin is actually more profitable than Walmart, right? And they probably have maybe, oh gosh, maybe a fifth of the sales that Walmart does, right? And it's interesting because for them to have equal profit, right? Let's say they wanted to have $1 billion in profit each. It's very interesting because Walmart would actually have to sell $617 million more than Target, or 15% more than Target, in order to make that same $1 billion in profit if they were going after that. So Walmart would have to work like 1.4 times harder than Target in order to have that same profitability. And it's all because they've chosen to discount their prices by maybe just 8%, right? And so my question for you entrepreneurs, how are you positioning yourself in the market? How are you positioning yourself in the market? Are you positioning yourself as the lowest cost provider? Are you putting yourself in a position where you have to work twice as hard as your competition? Are you choosing to be the lowest cost provider and work harder than everyone else? Or are you positioning yourself at a premium level service? And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you in the light of minimalism, which customers actually bring you joy. I know that a client has the ability to make or break my day, right? I'm pretty high energy, as you guys have figured out. And sometimes I bring enough energy for at least 2 to 3 people in the room, right? And so I choose to work with clients who make my day because I don't want to work with somebody that takes all my energy away, right? And so I always ask myself, who can I work best with? Who can I affect change with? Which clients can I actually make their life better? And so entrepreneurs, which customers bring you joy and provide a return on investment? These are the clients that you want to focus on. Now, there are clients, that you want to identify that are in that 80-20 role. We've all heard of Pareto principle, meaning that 20% of your clients are actually going to bring about 80% of your bottom line, right? And so we want to focus on those clients that are really in our zone of genius, where we can really best serve them, right? And create the most return from that. So my friends, embrace minimalism, right? Embrace minimalism, embrace less headache, create more profits, and work with people that you enjoy and whom you can actually help. So I hope that today was extremely helpful for you guys. Definitely join us in our private Facebook group. Where we're going to be teaching you the ins and outs of Profit First. We can learn more about Profit First. It's absolutely free. Take a look at it. Profit First with Susanne Mariga. Go into Facebook, search it up. You'll see me. Make sure it says with Susanne Mariga. There's a lot of bootleggers out there, but definitely look for Profit First with Susanne Mariga and join that group so you can learn about the ins and outs of Profit First. And until next time, may the profits be with you.